If there were one witness, Blake writes, who had both the access to Trump to perhaps know what the president said about Ukraine and the motivation to tell a story that Trump may not like, it would be Bolton. But Bolton has said he needs the court to tell him he can talk. Not a bad move. I think it's a smart move. And if someone like Bolton wants to testify, why not give him that chance? Mitch McConnell, you turtle-looking fucker, you. Huh? Why not? Bolton wants to talk. Mitch? Mick Mulvaney, acting White House Chief of Staff as the highest-ranking official, to be directly implicated in the quid pro quos. White House aides Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman and Fiona Hill testified that U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, said Mulvaney had authorized him to communicate a quid pro quo to the Ukrainians involving a White House meeting. Of course. Mulvaney, and remember, Mick Mulvaney is one of the founders of the Tea Party movement. Mulvaney has also effectively implicated himself, copping to the idea that military aid was withheld in another quid pro quo before thinking better of it and trying to change his tone. Too late, fucker. Bolton may be one of the more motivated witnesses, but Mulvaney may be the most knowledgeable one outside of Trump himself, that is, of course. Given that Mulvaney essentially admitted to the quid pro quo before changing his story, it's probably worth getting him under oath, which is another reason that the turtle won't do it. Of course, given that experience, you can bet Republicans want no part of relying on him as a witness. No, I guess not. But that's too bad, in that he could most definitely confirm or deny Trump's involvement in the quid pro quos. If he could confirm Trump was not involved, that son of a bitch would have testified 15 times by now. He would have been on MSNBC and CNN spouting the exculpatory evidence that does not exist. Now, the next witness, I found this very interesting. Joe Biden, to appear at the trial. The idea that the former vice president did anything wrong with regard to Ukraine has always been a big stretch. The Ukrainian prosecutor general he pushed to have removed, Viktor Shokin, wasn't actively investigating the company that employed Biden's son at the time, according to U.S. and Ukrainian officials. And Joe Biden was hardly the one Western leader pushing for his removal. There were a bunch of Western leaders that wanted Shokin out because he was a corrupt, pro-Putin prick. They wanted him gone, including Biden. But anyway, Democrats would surely balk at the idea that Biden has to defend himself. His mere appearance at this trial would be viewed as a PR win for Trump, whose goal in all of this has been to knock Biden down a peg or two ahead of the 2020 election, like he did to Hillary Clinton. But what if Biden took one for the team? What if he dealt with the questions which are being asked anyway, once and for all? And he did so as part of the deal to get other key witnesses in. That might even win him plaudits from the Democrats he needs to win the nomination. Having the elder Biden testify makes more sense than having his son testify, Hunter, given Trump's request dealt specifically with him, not with Hunter Biden, or his former employer, Burisma Holdings. Trump doesn't give a fuck about Hunter Biden. He doesn't give a fuck about Burisma. He doesn't give a fuck about Ukraine either, only insofar as he could try to cripple, politically speaking, Joe Biden. To the extent Joe Biden could prove that Trump's conspiracy theory was baseless, it would reinforce that Trump was concerned about himself and not corruption in Ukraine. I guess there are Republicans who need to be convinced of that. It's like the Christians. It's like the op-ed piece in Christianity Today. What the fuck do you people need? What do you need to realize that Trump is a mobster and is destroying everything? But the Christians have made a deal with Satan. And I think this is why Christianity Today is shitting its pants, because they realize they've made a deal with the devil. Now, who wins? In literature and Christian bullshit, who wins when you make a deal with the devil? Who wins? Every time. I'll give you a couple more seconds. Yeah, that's right. Next, Ron Johnson. This is one nobody is talking about. And there would be obvious problems with it, given that Johnson, who's a U.S. Senator, will serve as one of the jurors in this trial. But we haven't talked enough about how valuable a witness he might be. Johnson, who's a Senator Republican from Wisconsin, was in touch with Gordon Sondland about the withheld military aid. He was in touch with Trump about the same thing. And he traveled to Ukraine and met with the president there, Zelensky, where Zelensky asked about the aid. All these things happened in the span of 1 week. Johnson has spoken publicly and repeatedly about these things, but given his involvement in the less solidified of the two quid pro quos, the one involving military aid, getting him under oath would seem to be worthwhile, which is another reason he won't be called. Andrei Yermak. He's the top Zelensky aide, president of Ukraine, most involved in the arrangements with the Trump team, and at several junctions he seemed to understand that a White House meeting for Zelensky was tied to announcing Trump's preferred investigations. Announcing, not really doing it. But he is someone the Republicans might want to see as a witness, given he recently publicly denied that Gordon Sondland had told him the military aid was also tied to the investigations. Now, that denial by this Ukrainian guy is contradicted by two sworn witnesses. So why not get the Ukrainian guy, what's his name, Yermak, under oath in the Senate? So those are the people. And what's his name? Aaron Blake, who wrote this, he says there are obvious problems here, too, given that Yermak is not an American citizen. Ukraine would surely balk at him being grilled about the whole thing. They rather clearly just wanted to go away and to avoid inflaming an already strained relationship with Trump. But in an ideal world, Yermak would be called as a witness. As long as the Republicans are in control, and yes, in so many times when Democrats are in control, there is no ideal world where it concerns politics. It just so happens that the world created by Trump is filled with rats and filth and gangsters and corruption and slop and slime and shit and lies and dishonor. And that's our government right now. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.